Hello subscribers and non-subscribers, and welcome back to Roommates. So this is going to this should be the final episode, because I checked to make sure. Week 21 is the last week of any events, and if I go ahead and pull this up, we are going to be going into week 20. We'll actually go and play week 21 as well, more than likely. And so the series pretty much is going to be coming to a close today, more than likely. Let me go and actually get my dice in case I want to roll the dice to make some decisions. And let's go ahead and start this week. We're going to leave everything as is. And you know, it actually would be great if we could get spontaneous up a little more. We don't really need to get active up anymore. I mean, technically, we would actually probably be fine as we are right now. That should equal 600. Actually, yeah, that's like 626 or something like that, I think. If my math's correct. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and we're going to try and make sure that we can get our spontaneous up to 300 as well. See if we can get the best ending with Sally. And so let's go ahead and start the week. So we go and jump right into an event. I snag a good seat prepared for another class. I sometimes can't believe they still let Professor Task teach here. I guess that's the power of tenure. I wonder what he's going to get into today. Alright, you little money sacks, sit down. Let's get this started. Everyone quiets down, settling in their seats. The professor turns on the projector and starts displaying slides. The slides seem to be displaying a countryside, a few buildings dotted. As he progresses through the slides, we see a bunch of people standing in front of buildings and posing. Professor, are we just looking at your vacation slides? What's your point? I'm trying to get to a point. If certain noisy know-nothings would stop interrupting me. I sit back in my seat, not believing we're actually looking at a professor's vacation slides. Ah, here we are. This is the slide that matters. On the projector is a picture of some kind of small green statue. The fabled jade monkey of Tuskatoon, a small village in western Nigeria. I sought this fabled statue for 6 years before beginning my career here. Unfortunately, just as it was in my grasp, I lost it to a rival hunter. What's the point of this, Professor? Ah, yes, what is the point indeed? The point, my dear, is that I have never given up my search, and now I have located the final piece. I know that one of you has it. The professor points at Roxanne and myself. The rest of the class gasps in surprise. Why? Whatever do you mean, dear Professor? Yeah, what are you talking about? Oh, don't play dumb with me. Give up the jade monkey and I won't have to spring the trap I planted on both of your chairs. The professor pulls out a small switch attached to a radio transmitter. I look under my chair and see the dynamite he planted there. Okay. I don't know what to say. I think this is just an event for the sake of an event. It's a little funny, it seems. So we're going to roll the dice, though. So we got a 5, a 6, and another 6. So we're going to accuse Roxanne of holding the monkey. I stand up, pointing my finger squarely at Roxanne. Sorry, Red, but I know you've got it. Just cough it up already so we can go home. Roxanne frowns and reaches into her backpack. When her hand comes back, it's holding a small jade statue. There it is, my pupil. Get the statue and you shall want for nothing. I nod at the professor, glaring at Roxanne. For her part, she just smiles, cocking her hand and waving me on. I jump up, kicking off my desk so I can fly across the room to where Roxanne is. She blocks my initial punch with a swift motion of her arm. Wait, that was Crane meets a traveler. It cannot be. You are from the Death Hand School? Of course I am. Did you truly think you had destroyed all of her clan? You don't have the strength. Now let me show you true kung fu. I can't take this event seriously, in all honesty. Our fists meet with a thunderclap as we try to move past each other's defenses. Her kung fu is strong, but I know that I have righteousness on my side. Suddenly, one of her feet darts out, sweeping my leg. I immediately retreat into a standing crane. Ha! You have left yourself open. Her fist moves faster than I can imagine, hitting 4 pressure points in my chest. You were a worthy opponent, but you have only 4 steps to live. Professor Task and the rest of the class gasps in pain and sorrow as Roxanne moves 6 steps away from me. I cannot let her get away with this. I take 2 steps forward. Another with my 4th step, pain builds in my chest. I can see Roxanne smirking condescendingly at me. With a start, I lift my head off my desk. I cannot believe I fell asleep. What the hell was that dream? And that's why you should always be aware of what kind of cheese you're buying in foreign countries. I told you I was getting to a point. Okay, that's an interesting event. I don't honestly remember that one when I had played this myself, going for Isabel. That's an interesting little event there. Time's running short to get my plans in motion. I need to get a poster out to let people know what I'm doing. I think it's time I talk to Rakesh. Well, we might as well talk to Rakesh. He is the best person we have when it comes to doing art. At least when it comes to the people in our little dorm here. I guess, technically speaking, I think somebody in the band is also actually supposed to be good at art, but nonetheless, we'll go to Rakesh. I head down the hall, formulating my game plan as I go. I knock on Rakesh's door, thinking about what kind of poster he would make, or he might make. Ah, Max, please, come in. Hey, bro. I give Rakesh a quick high five as I enter his room. Let's get right to business. I need to commission you. What? What for? Have you heard about this party Anne's throwing? My band's going to be playing. Oh, yes, she invited me just the other day. That is incredibly exciting, Max. Yes, let's just design a poster for your outing. Speak to me, Max. Speak to me of music. Now, 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Had to go and get some water. Rakesh spins with a flourish and walks over toward his easel, placing a new sheet of paper on it. He's a very silly person sometimes. I sit down on his bed and watch as he stares at the paper, waiting for me to talk first. Well, you know the band Back Alley Flash? We want something flashy, something that says, "We're here to blow your socks off, and your panties." Yes. I can produce this thing for you. I shall craft such a poster that women's undergarments shall implode from the glory. Rakesh starts sketching on his paper, making wild marks across everywhere. I can't really tell what's on it. A few minutes later, he turns to look at me. He gestures toward a big white space toward the top of the poster. What do you think? I could put your portraits up here, or I can put something more imaginative. Okay. Let's, I don't know, Rakesh. I really don't know. Let's roll the dice. I get a 5. Get a 2. And this will determine what we do. And another 5. So, Rakesh, let your imagination fly. I trust you. Hey, I said flashy, Rakesh. You give me whatever you like. Rakesh grins at me and starts sketching into the white space. This will take a while. I will have your posters ready to distribute tomorrow. I will even put them up around for you. Oh, thank you. All right, Rakesh. It's in your hands now. What? Interesting. So, for whatever reason, we have had an error occurred. Specifically, an exception has occurred. Let's tell it to... Well, we're just going to take our chances. I'm actually not quite sure what caused this. Yeah. Well, even though this may lead to additional errors, we're going to ignore this because we have to make sure Rakesh does his thing. Got no idea what happened there. In all honesty, that's a little funky. I never had that happen to me before. Because I played through at least twice, going for Isabel. One I got a half-decent ending, and the other one I got a better ending. And neither time that happened. Though, then again, it's possible that just the decisions I made in that one ended up to the point where that ended up being the case, where no errors occurred. But nonetheless, I never had that happen before, so it's interesting that it occurred. Back in my room at last. Just as I'm putting my keys on my desk, there's a knock on my door. Max, you have to help me. They have outwitted me. I stand with my keys in hand, staring at Rakesh. Who's outwitted you? My parents. They're going to be video calling me in 20 minutes. So? So? The letter I wrote them. They're not coming, but they still want to check up on me. You have to help me. I looked down at the keys in my hand for a moment before answering. You know, we haven't really bothered getting along with Rakesh at all up to this point. And we could easily skip this event, keep the episode short, or we can play it. And, well, because Rakesh is just Rakesh, and we haven't really done anything to try and build a relationship with him, or a friendship, or whatever, we're just gonna roll the dice, and we'll see what the dice say. So, first, a 5. That would be a skip it. The second, a 4. That would be another skip it. Let's see what we get on the third roll. We get a 5. Sorry, Rakesh. You're on your own. I'm sorry, Rakesh, but my professor wants me to come down for an immediate conference about my essay for finals. I can't blow this off, Rakesh. You'll be fine. Just tell your parents the truth, okay? Rakesh looks devastated, but he nods and wanders off back to his room. I pick up my house keys and wander back outside. I really don't want to get in the middle of Rakesh's personal problems like this. I didn't have anywhere to go, though. But I'm sure Memphis and I can come up with something fun. Okay, we are now in week 21, which is the last week that has any events, and in fact, I think it is the final week period for the game. And wow, we only have $95 to our name. Okay. Wow, that's a little unexpected. Damn. That's like almost literally dirt poor. Of course, that's assuming that it is actually a literal just $95, which I'd imagine it is. A literal $95, and not like a, oh, that's $950 in reality. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and we shall go through week 21, the last week of any events, and this will, I think this is the final week. There might be a week 21 that just goes through quickly, but either way, this is the week that has the final events of the game. So let's go and start. Yeah, okay, give me a call tomorrow and we'll run down the set list, okay? You got it, man. I think tonight I'm going to take Sally out. And Memphis, we had you write the set list last time I checked, so I guess you're just going to let me know what the final list is? Or we'll practice going down the list? I don't know. But nonetheless, whatever. Yeah, seems like a good plan. Memphis and I wave goodbye to each other. I know Sally's home, though with finals coming up pretty soon. No, we're going to play the event. I grab my jacket and head back outside. Unless I miss my guess, she should be around right about now. Hey, Max. I spin around and spot Sally coming back. Oh, hey, looks like I was late coming out. I'm glad you came out anyway. Here, let me put Veggie down and we'll just go for a walk, the two of us. 20 minutes later, Sally and I are walking around town hand in hand. It's a little embarrassing, but she's cute, so it's alright. So, if we can get enough signatures, the dean promised to look into the issue. Wow, nice work, Sally. You've really taken a stand here. Well, yeah, I guess that's supposed to be political science professor says he'll give me extra credit for it, so it's not entirely altruistic. How are you doing in that class anyway? Pretty well. The professor used to participate in protests all the time when he was a student. He's been pretty inspirational. That's my lady. Gonna change the world one day. Hopefully more than once. What about you? You wanna sign our petition? Yeah, sure. Show it to me when we get back. You know, I hope your band does take off. There's nothing like a rock star to get a message out there. I grin as Sally squeezes my hand. Well, every great rock star needs an activist girlfriend. Keeps me from getting all strung out on crack. I can get all strung out on the environment. I hear you can get hella high huffing oil-covered seagulls. That might be a little off message. Still, good to know your heart's in more or less the right place. Hey, if it's in your hands, I know it's in the right place. Oof. Let's see. I'm actually gonna pull up the guide for this. Because one of these is the better decision. Okay, the better decision is the bottom one, if I recall correctly. Yeah, okay. So let's see, we have, well, let me know when your next protest is. I'll come bail you out. Which, I guess she's not really a fan of, according to the guide. Although I'm pretty sure we're already at maxed out relations with her, but of course, if we do anything to decrease relations, well, we're not going to be at maxed out anymore. So, we're going to try and make sure we stay at maxed out. So, well, don't play it too safe. I like a troublemaker. I'll just bet you do. Don't worry, I don't plan on giving you an easy time. Sounds fun to me. I look forward to taking everything you can dish out. Sally pulls me close and kisses my cheek. I think you'll have more than a handful for me too, boy. Sally smiles as we continue our walk. After a little while, we find a nice bench. We watch the sun set as we talk, my arm around her. Yeah, so, since we're at maxed out points, it did not actually give us any. But, of course, we gotta make sure we're at maxed out. Because we're trying to get the best ending we can. Which we're gonna get, because we're at over 600. Or we're at least equal to 600 here. So, yeah. Also, wasn't that event on Monday? And we were supposed to call Memphis the next day, which would have been Tuesday in that case. So, apparently we just didn't bother calling Memphis. Or at least it's not an event. Tonight's the big night. Everything I've worked for comes down to tonight. Alright, Max. We've got everything ready. Well, just about. We've got the flyers all printed up, and the spare stuff all ordered. I had to get some spare amps and a few new mics. Long story short, bro, it's time to pay the piper. Yeah, alright, but otherwise, we're all ready to go, right? Yeah, though I don't think Anne's paying us until after tonight, so you'd better have the money up front. Or you can call everything off. It pissed some people off, but I guess it's better than starving in a gutter somewhere. Must you always be so dramatic? And we're gonna play the event. A few hours later, I'm standing in a rented party hall watching everything get set up. It looks like Anne went out of her way to get this whole thing going right. I can even see a bartender setting up shop. That little grammatical error, I'm fairly certain. Hopefully she won't mind a few extra guests when our fans show up. Finally, I spot the band coming in. There you jerks are. I thought you'd stood me up. You wish. Then you would have had the whole stage to yourself. As the band flies in, I'm a little surprised to see Sally helping them, carrying instruments up to the makeshift stage we've set up. As she puts down the instrument she comes over to give me a quick kiss. You need anything else, sweetie? Otherwise, I'll go see if Anne needs a hand. Nah, I think we're good. Thanks for the help, Sally. She smiles and blows me a kiss as she goes off to help Anne. After another hour or so, I hear Anne yelling across the hall. Okay, everyone, I'm gonna open the door. Close the curtain. You're on in 20 minutes, Max. I give her a thumbs up as she smiles as the curtains close. I can hear the crowd gathering and take a quick peek through the curtain. The band is almost ready. Our sound checks are long since finished. We are just making sure everything's locked down. Good crowd out there. Looks like we got a lot of attention. Yeah, I'll bet that flyer was badass. I grin at Memphis and close the curtain. I'm curious to know what the poster looked like. Or banner, or whatever they just referred to it as. I'm curious to know what it looked like. A few minutes later, I hear Anne walking on stage. Everyone, thank you very much for coming to attend my end-of-the-year party. I know a lot of you are freshmen like me, and if nothing else, we first years should stick together. So let's not let this year be the last we see each other. I hope we can support each other and be friends all through college. She's laying it on a little thick, but I'm sure she's just excited. The crowd roars in appreciation of the sentiment, though. Good to hear they appreciated it. And with that in mind, here's another band fronted by another first-year student just like us, so I hope you're ready to rock like never before. May I present Back Alley Flash! The curtains pull back almost instantly, and I strum a chord, taking a quick look at my band before grinning and hitting immediately into our first song. As I look over the crowd, I can tell the house is full. Everyone cheers as we really get going on our first number. This is going to be a great set. At least, when I look carefully, I can spot all of our roommates here, ready to enjoy the show. Even Douchnik showed up. The Back Alley Flash plays its heart out for the next 70 minutes. By the end, the crowd is cheering and loving it. I can see the bartender standing bored. Looks like everyone was too entrapped to even go after drinks. When the crowd inevitably calls for an encore, we give it to them. Playing a fast dance number, most of the crowd grab a partner and start dancing up a storm. I noticed Rakesh grabbing Carmen for a dance. I'm surprised to see Carmen grab Rakesh's ass, though the grin on his face tells me it's alright with him. I can see all the other roommates dancing together, making a nice circle. Finally, we finish our set and the curtains close on us. The band stands up, stretches after a long set and cheers. We did a damn fine job out there. Not bad, you stage hog. Huh, not bad yourself, jerkface. I gave him a quick hug before high-fiving Jerry and Slim. Memphis won't let that stand, though, and drags us all in for a group hug. Suddenly, Slim's boyfriend breaks us up by wrapping his arms around her. We all laugh as she turns to slug him one in the stomach for sneaking up on her. Luckily, she's not the only one with backstage visitors. Sally comes running backstage to plant a big kiss right on my lips. I smile broadly, hugging Sally close. Finally, we all head back out into the crowd to revel in the adoration of our new fans, or to revel in the adoration of our new fans. This is the true definition of a rock god. We make our way over to the other roommates. Who are still gathered. Alright, who was it, really? That was a damn good show, Max. I didn't know you actually had hard work in you. Aw, I'm gonna blush, douchebag. Thanks. Everyone laughs and congratulates me on a job well done. And with that, I think everyone deserves a drink on me. Everyone cheers as we go forth to celebrate the end of the year for a little longer. And that should... Oh, there's actually one more. Okay. Alright, kids. You've got finals next week, so I'm sure you've all got plenty of studying to do. I could try teaching you something that's going to be on the finals, but really, why should I start teaching now? The professor throws a slide on the projector that says study before walking out of the room. Half the class opens their books and starts studying. The other half starts standing up to pick up their things. Not sure which I should do. I don't think we really get anything out of actually playing this event at this point in time. You may get the choice between studying with Anne or studying with Roxanne. And maybe you get some bonus points to your grade. I don't really know. So we're going to roll the dice to determine this one. So 6, 5. Am I gonna get a 4? Oh, I hope I don't get a 4. That'd be a little annoying. I get a 3, so it looks like we're gonna be playing the event. Well, if I'm going to study, I'll do it in my own place. I pick up my things and head out the door. Okay, so apparently playing the event leaves. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. I pick up my things and head out the door with a bunch of the other students with the same idea. How do you know they have the same idea? They could all be saying, I just don't want to study, so they're leaving. I make my way over to the cafe. I figure I'll get a bite while I study. Wow, Max, I guess the gang's all here. I look towards Sally's voice and see that all of my roommates really are here. They've all gathered around a table in the corner. Looks like even Isabel took a break from work to sit down. We all just kept coming in one by one. I suppose our great minds have thought alike. Sally waves at me, smiling and patting an empty seat. Is everyone else's professor as crazy as Professor Task? No, he's the only asshole with tenure around here. I think the schedule's all just worked out. Wow, we almost never get to do this. This is so nice. Yeah, we should get together more often. Most of you are pretty alright. Isabel reaches out to punch me in the arm as she laughs. It's been a long year, hasn't it? It really has been. Lots of fun, though. Yeah, I think this has been the most fun I've ever had this year. I'm just happy you managed to learn something, like one singular thing. I don't know what exactly, but... Oh, shut up. Honestly, you guys, thanks for everything this year. How about this? I know I got here late, but everyone gets a drink on me, huh? Everyone round the table cheers as I stand up and go over to the counter to make a drink order. As I wait for the other clerk to get my order ready, I look back at the table with all my roommates, friends, sitting around it. This has been a good year, and frankly, I can't wait to see what happens next. The next 2 weeks fairly flew by. Between my finals and everyone else's, I barely got any time to spend with my friends. I put a lot of work into this last final, but it's not really my last one. Sometimes the idea of 3 more years of this seems incredibly daunting. Which is precisely why I didn't want to get caught up in this college bull in the first place. I probably wouldn't even be on campus today if I hadn't needed to sell back some books. As long as I was here, though, I went ahead and printed off my grades for the year. Despite all the craziness this quarter, I've even managed to keep my grades up. Just goes to show exactly how amazing I am. I kept my grades up without even trying. As I walk back toward Latin House to pick up some things for a trip back home, a couple of people wave at me. I think they probably caught my show a few weeks back. I give them a wink and smile. A few weeks back? It was yesterday, wasn't it? Or 2 days ago? It was Wednesday. It's Friday right now. So, yeah, like 2 days ago. The two of them seem fairly happy. Oh, well, actually, no, I guess it's sort of... I think it's trying to technically act as though we're 2 weeks in the future, but it's still listing it as week 21. So technically we're not 2 weeks in the future after finals are over. So that's a little funky. The two of them seem fairly happy to see me. The concert went alright. We could have done better, but at least our name is getting out there. Finally, standing back on the porch of Latin House, I think over all the things I've done this year. Smiling to myself, I open the door and head inside. I'd almost immediately run into Sally. Whoa! Oh, hey Max. Whoa, sorry Sally. We spend a few moments apologizing to each other. For my part, though, I can't help but wonder how I ended up with this bleeding heart vegetarian. I lean down to pet Vegemite. I don't have to lean as far as I used to. He's really gotten much bigger. He licks my hand as he grins happily at me. He really is a sweet dog. Almost as sweet as his owner. As I pet him, I just find myself really content and happy. Or feeling content and happy. Yeah, she's a bleeding heart, but that just means she's not afraid to stand up for what she believes in. And my rock and roller soul really appreciates that. What? Do I have something on me? And we just got the achievement for... make sure I get it right. For unlock Sally's ending CG playing as Max. Wanted to make sure I got the right requirements for it. So, what? Do I have something on me? What? No, you're fine. Damn fine, if you ask me. Okay, you're just giving me a goofy grin, you smooth talker, you. Oh, actually, can I ask you for a favor? Sure, what's up, baby? I was down at the dog park in town a couple weeks back, and met someone with a dog like Vegemite. She's a mutt, too. We were talking about what breed we thought they were. Well, anyway, long story short, I promised to house sit for a little bit this summer since the two get along so well. Wanna come help me walk her? You're sure you're not trying to bring another dog home, right? Shut up and come on already. She smiles as we head down the street, off to pick up some strange dog. 25 minutes later, the two of us are walking down the walking lane in the campus park. There we go. And, there we go. Had to make sure I got the right button. And that's going to be used for the thumbnail. Luckily, this new dog is well behaved. So, okay. Over here on the right is Vegemite. I'm fairly certain that's supposed to be Vegemite. Vegemite's white. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say that's Vegemite. And this is the other dog. Whatever the other dog is. They actually look very similar. In fact, I think it might be literally the same dog with the angle for it slightly altered and a different color. Which is actually somewhat understandable. They're supposed to be more or less the same dog, it sounds like, anyway, since they mentioned them both being mutts. They're probably the same breed, basically. And thanks for coming out with me, Max. I appreciate the help. Last time I tried walking both at once, they just set about chasing each other, dragging me halfway around the park. Well, if that's all you're looking for, we can tie them to 2 different trees and I can drag you around behind some trees. Ha! Don't be gross, Max. Also, we're not leaving the dogs unsupervised. At least Vegemite's neutered. It means I can trust him a lot more than I trust you. Words hurt, my dear. Words hurt. Sally just laughs at me, well, with me. See, this is why I keep you around. You don't put up with my crap. I thought you kept me around for my veggie-fueled body and that thing I do in the sack you love so much. Look, I'm not saying you don't come with some additional benefits. Oh, did you upgrade me to the full package? Do I come with climate control? Well, I've certainly turned up the heat doing that thing in the sack you love so much. I love it when I can get Sally to blush. Well, if it makes you feel better, I'm glad you're here with me. I'm always happy when you're around. Even when I'm making bacon? Don't push your luck, chump. Yes, even when you're performing questionable acts of animal consumption. Good, because I'm happy with you too. We pause in our walk, ignoring for a brief moment the tug on our arms. Okay, they're making me confused as to which one I want to use for the thumbnail. And actually, I don't think that was a great one. Let me make sure my mouse is completely out of the picture. When our lips meet, it helps if I can speak properly. When her lips meet mine as the sun sets in the distance, I feel like I made all the right choices in life. The happy sigh coming from her as we kiss on the road tells me she feels the same. I tell you the magic broke when the tugging on our arms became a bit more insistent, but honestly, the magic never did break. So, yeah, that's the last thing I remember doing my first year of college. Heh, it's been a year since I thought about my college days. As I look back at the time I spent in Latin House, it was definitely the start of a new chapter for me. The world seemed full of new possibilities, and I think I really wanted to seize all of them. I really pushed myself academically. I probably devoted a little too much time to studying, but I guess I was tired of people thinking I was just an idiot with a bit of musical talent. Seeing my mom and pop's faces when I double majored in business and music, I got a degree for both. It was almost worth it. Whatever did happen to the others? It's hard to remember everybody these days. Let's see. Anne finished her degree in library science and then just stayed on at the university. They gave her a job at the library. Last I heard from her, she was up to her 4th degree. Sometimes I feel like she broke out of one cage and got trapped in another one, but she seems happy, and I know she meets way more people these days. Isabel eventually went back to Mexico. She stayed pretty much exactly long enough to get her master's in teaching. I, long ago, lost count of the boyfriends and girlfriends she had during the course of college, but to her credit, she never cheated on any of them. She writes every once in a while and promised to put me up if I ever make my way down there. Oh, but I've left Sally out, haven't I? Or I've left out Sally, haven't I? Sally managed to get us into a fair amount of trouble. We even got arrested on a few times during our college years. Usually it was just at some protest where we'd get taken in with a bunch of others. We generally got off with slaps on the wrist. When we weren't protesting, everything was great. She got pretty big into yoga for a while, and we did that together. I helped keep her from adopting every stray in the greater metropolitan area. It was a pretty good run. Luckily, before I had to put a final stop to any protesting, she managed to get noticed by a national animal rights advocacy group. Apparently, her willingness to put herself out there had really caught their eye. Their cause was right up her alley. She buckled down and got her communications degree and had a job waiting for her right out of college. She does publicity, actually. Between my band and her career, it was a little hard to keep things going. We ended up with a long-distance relationship for a while. Both of us had a traveling lifestyle, but we always had each other to come back to. Finally, after working on a joint venture for an ethical farming campaign, I just asked her to move in with me. We're not together all the time, but we've been sharing this place ever since. As for me, well, I remember my sophomore and junior years weren't the most fun I've had. Roxanne spread a lot of vicious rumors about me. Normally a little bad press goes a long way for a kid trying to make a rock band work. The stuff she spread, though? Nasty business. It's hard to shake rumors that you've copied lyrics, and when someone's taken the time to post a fake lyrics website, yeah, like I said, nasty business. We finally made up in my senior year. She'd long since made up the credits, and I started buying all her books for her. And I started buying all her books for the year. Never spoke to her after college, though. Back Alley Flash definitely got a kickstart that first year of college. We kept working on our acts while I was at college, but after college, the band did alright in the years after college. We managed to get a small following, nothing huge, but enough to keep us living off our music. We got a couple of songs on the radio that brought in the sales for a bit. My concentration on classes during college had already put a bit of a strain on the group. We broke up after just a couple of years. I still talk to Memphis on occasion. We both do music scores for video games, though for different companies. But yeah, everything else about me, you probably already know. And, at any rate, that's good enough for now. I feel like I've been talking about myself for ages. How about you? How was your college experience? And now we enter into the actual credits. Yeah, I don't actually really have anything else to say now. I do want to say, though, the game is actually overall pretty good. And somebody wanted me to do something regarding Anne. I don't actually recall off the top of my head if they wanted me to play as Anne or if they wanted me to play as Max and go after Anne. Either way, one, I would like it if that person would let me know exactly which one it was. I know they put a comment down. I don't remember what it was, and I'm too lazy to go back and find it. So if they're still watching the series, I'd appreciate it if they put in the comments section which it is that they wanted me to do. Did they want me to play as Anne, or did they want me to play as Max and go after Anne? Either way, if that does happen, it's going to be a ways down the road. Because, well, for one thing, I don't really want to do a Let's Play of every single story arc, essentially. Because, clearly, I'd much prefer for you guys to go out and buy the game and play these story arcs that you want. So, that's the way that is. The game is, I believe, $25 on Steam, and it gives you both Max's story and Anne's story. But if you only want Max or you only want Anne, you can pick it up on Winter Wolves' website, and there is I'm fairly certain I've included a link in the description for every single one of these parts to both the Steam page, once the game showed up on Steam, and the and Winter Wolves' website, specifically their page for the game. But yeah, so if you want just Anne's story or just Max's story, you can pick it up over there. I think it's $15 for just one story. I think. Don't quote me on that. I might be a little off. But yeah, nonetheless, I guess... Is it... Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if the credits were over, but it looks like they might have been. But yeah, so if you guys... I would prefer if you were to pick up the game yourself if you want to see any specific story. And there is a number of actual sort of different routes you can go. You can play as Max and get a friendship with Douchnik or Dominic or whatever you want to name him. And you can play as Anne and actually get a friendship with Sally. Of course, though, with the way the game is set up, I believe you're pretty much limited in a... Whichever one you have the most relationship with is the one that you end up with the ending for. So I don't think you can necessarily play as Max and go for Sally and get a friendship with Douchnik. I think in the way it works is it's going to look, okay, well, Sally likes you more than Douchnik does, so you're going to get Sally's ending. I don't think it allows you to sort of get multiple endings in a sense. So if you wanted... But yeah, so nonetheless, that's going to be it for this episode. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys next time. For those of you guys that watch Chaos Set, that series will now be uploaded on a weekly basis. And again, there will be links in the description to the Steam page for this, and there should be a link also to Winter Wolves' website for this series. I would love it if you guys would actually pick up the game yourself rather than just trying to find each and every single story arc uploaded on YouTube, because, well, I enjoyed the game personally quite a bit. And while I own a couple of Winter Wolves games, but this is the only one that I've actually gotten around to playing, I have enjoyed them overall. So I would obviously like for them to get support. So that's why I'm going to advocate for you guys to go ahead and actually pick up the game yourself. If you liked what you saw and you would like to go and see some of the other potential stories. You can also pick up the soundtrack. I think I have a link in the description to where you can pick that up. But you can also pick it up on Steam for like $1. Although I think you have to own the game on Steam to pick the soundtrack up on Steam. So, yeah. But nonetheless, that's going to be it for this episode. As always, as I said, like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys next time. But until then, goodbye and farewell.